Hello everyone, Blue Star Saber here once again to do another Star Wars The Acolyte review, Episode 7, Choice. Now granted, some of you be a bit confused, probably might be a bit confused because if you've watched my stream last night, you'll probably see that I've already reviewed the 7th episode of The Acolyte. But I will be honest, I was a bit tired, I was being a bit sleepy, I couldn't remember, I was having a difficulty trying to remember what I was going to say. And to be honest, I was pretty much being like, I guess let's see people be making fun of on the internet, Sleepy Joe Biden, I guess, or let's see, it felt kind of like that. Though, granted, I hope that the Americans will vote Democrat regardless of whoever the candidate ends up being, because I'd rather not deal with Donald Trump for another 4 years and whatever he plans to do with Project 25. But anyway, that's just So yeah, I just wanted to try and make a bit more of a more clear, more decisive Ritzy review, as well as make sure so it's better so people can listen to what I overall thought of the show and of the episode, and don't have to worry about me going like back and forth and just trying to keep myself awake, if you will. I should really learn not to sleep at do a stream when I'm just about to be very sleepy. But yeah, well, that's my mistake there. Anyway, The Acolyte. This episode, This episode seems to be the most controversial episode to date. From what I can tell, those who like the Acolyte, at least give it more of a chance, seem to like it. But those that hate the Acolyte seem to think this episode absolutely hated, with some saying that this is the worst episode yet. And it's arguably because this episode is a flashback episode to the events of follow up to the third episode where you had I believe it was what's the third episode called again? Hold on, let me just get the Wikipedia page. Destiny. Well, this seems to be a follow-up to that bit of the episode. So, which has caused a bit of controversy because it feels like with the fact that one of these episodes was just another bit of showing the events of the flashback. That means not everyone. That means that felt like there's not enough time to cover with everything that was left up in the last episode, episode 6, where you saw Osha interacting with Chroma, where you can see him trying to tempt her to become his new apprentice. Realizing that May was pretending to be Osha, and I believe Vestra Ma, whatever that Marilyn Jide name account member from the High Republic is also starting to investigate what happened on the mission to the mission that Saul's Jedi team went on, and finding all the Jedi dead except him. So many people are wondering, okay, how's this all going to tie in? But yeah. But like we do always, I show you the sort of Acolyte's reputation, if you will. As you can see here, you've got some bits and pieces about the news. You got certain user reviews, and as you can see here with the Acolyte on Rotten Tomatoes, you got a lot of people really hating that sort of that low score here. But it should be noted with particularly with season 1 here. You've got at least 25,000+ more reviews for this one, while if you go to The Mandalorian, you can see that there's a lot less reviews, and it's most one of its 2 more popular seasons, 10,000+. And even in this third season, where you've got the controversial third season, you've got at least 2,500+. At the very least, you seem to have not many people are viewing it, so there are accusations that the Acolyte is being reviewed wrong. I'm just pointing that out. Now, granted, as a result of the whole, there's also the whole culture war, political discussion, and climate you can find on YouTube and other places, and as a result, makes criticizing the show a little bit more harder. Now, how do I feel this episode? I'm in the camp that thinks this episode's brilliant, or is it bad? Well, I'm about to summarize, so we'll find out. So the episode pretty much, you see the episode beginning back on Brendok. We have Jai Masters, Indra, Kanaka, and Sol. Let's see, along with Padawan Tobin, though he becomes a Jai Master, of course, down the line. They're collecting samples from, like, in containers, be it like bushes, water, plants, all that kind of stuff. You kind of see, like, let's see, Sol collecting, like, a particular bit of plant, not seemingly happy, or at least thinking like he might have found something but be disappointed, from what I can recall. I did watch the episode last night, though I was tired. Let's see, you have Indara activating a scanner, checking her data pads. Let's see, Kanaka is sort of searching the grass with looks like a metal finder, if you will. And I think Torben, let's see, is just half-hastily collecting samples and dropping them. And then we cut to night where they're having a campfire bit, where Kanaka is cooking meal, but Torben doesn't really want to eat it, where Indara says it's unwise to refuse a Wookiee's cooking. This, of course, seems to be like a bit of more of a clever way of like referencing the fact that in episode 4, A New Hope, Han told them 3PO and R2 it's not wise to upset a Wookiee in a sort of game of online holo game, because, well, Wookiees will rip off your arms, and it seems like they might also do that as well when you let's see, don't eat their cooking. So it seems Wookiees generally have tempers. Somehow I'm amazed that Jedi will allow Wookiees to be Jedi if they can't control their temper, since that's one of the things of being a Jedi. But I suppose, let's see, after all, they don't want to deal with dark side Wookiees, I'm pretty certain. But anyway, but yeah, that is pretty much what you see with the let's see, you have them in the bit of the campfire there, and but you realize that Torben's being, let's see, just unhappy, just sick of eating the same apparently Nunnan legs, which I'm going to assume something like the equivalent of Star Wars chicken. But he just wants to go back to his home on Coruscant. Well, Indara tries to be sympathetic, but also reminding her Padawan that this is a mission. And he's complaining that they spent 7 weeks on Brendok without finding anything worth reporting. And I remember that from what I can see from some of the reviews, particularly like Angry Joe's, let's see, he feels like this is a bit too quick of a time to be like being so missing home. It's like you only been like 7 weeks, like, which in the UK is like a half term. So it's like let's see, you're not really it's not really a long thing, and it's like perhaps it was like something like 7 months. That'd be a bit more understandable, but yeah, you kind of have that like complaints there. Anyway, you have her then trying to explain. It's Indra explaining to Britty, her Padawan, that the reason why this is whole important, this Britty Brendok, is that it was lifeless 100 years ago due to the hyperspace disaster, which is the great one that was in the very first Star Wars High Republic book, which I do have, but I still need to read. And that, because that was like the whole events that sort of triggered like all the events that play off in the High Republic, and would be the thing that apparently eventually will, let's see, be called the decline of the High Republic era, that would eventually lead to the main Jedi era, though I think, which is now you're dealing with like the Acolyte here. But yeah, but I do like that they brought up this sort of like era from their Star Wars lore and history. Granted, I wonder if it would have been better if all that stuff would have been in TV shows, but it seems like at the moment they're just having that as books and comics. Whether or not that would ever be adapted into something else, I do not know, but that's what they mainly doing there. So you got choice, and then let's see, she explains that since this planet is thriving, they're being investigated, and then telling him not to let his anxieties get the better of him when he sort of grumbles and complains. Going on how he doesn't really understand the purpose of this mission, and this is where Sol explains that they're looking for a vergence in the Force on the planet, where Indara explains that a vergence is a concentration of Force energy centered around a location, with Sol thinking that there could be a vergence that can create life on this planet, and it's worth studying and possibly protecting. And it's a noble mission for the Jedi to find these vergences. And this, of course, I think, well, let's see. I think Star Wars fans will probably know a vergence is usually, of course, like it says, a location of the Force. For many people, that was like in Empire Strikes Back and Dagobah, where that's more of like a dark side area where Luke confronted him, like a version of Vader that turned out to Fitzy be him, had him unmasked there, sort of hinting like if Luke's not careful, he may become what he hates with Darth Vader. And then I think, of course, you have, I think George was planning to have Coruscant, the Jedi Temple, and Coruscant be a versions where you have like a Jedi Temple atop of the Sith Temple to try and, keep the dark side at bay there. But there's also clouded their judgment, to like the Sith that were hiding in plain sight. Sort of a way to explain why they couldn't, find it with the Force. Find out that Palpatine was the Sith Lord through the Force. But the most interesting thing that most people will remember the vergence from is when the Jedi Council discussed with Qui-Gon and Yoda, Qui-Gon talked about how he found a possible living versions in the Force of Anakin Skywalker, and this was like showing that Anakin was sort of like a very unique occurrence where he seemed to be more potential than anyone, and that this means that Anakin Skywalker is the possible chosen one for the Star Wars franchise. And this, I think, where the whole fact that apparently the two as you probably tell, this episode implies that the two twins are apparently vergences in the possible vergences of the Force. That causes a lot of controversy with certain fans because they feel like it undermines Anakin and making him less unique in this sort of role in Star Wars, if you will. But yeah, so that's mostly the controversy with the vergence. But anyway, hold on, oops, accidentally clicked the wrong button there. Apologies. So that's why they so you get Torben understand, and they continue their mission the following day. You have like Kanaka exploring the forest with his scanner, Torben still not really being into it, and this is where into the mission where Indra and Sol speak, with her talking about how her pad one's too distracted and doesn't really understand the significance of this vergence. But she also points out that she's not sure if this is what caused the life to happen on Brendok. And this is where Sol says that Torben was distracted and balanced. It's just that he tries to say it's just Torben being distracted and balanced, but Indara reminds him that he was also disturbed, and also tells him not to confuse his feelings with Torben's. And Indra says that she does not tell Torben the answers to ease his mind, rather than seek answers for himself. And this is where she kind of points out when Sol sighs that this is why she has a pad and he does not. Which I think is supposed to be playful, but I can't help but wonder if Sol might actually be a bit resentful that her friend, maybe colleague, maybe even rival in the Jedi has a Padawan and he doesn't. Which might explain why he is so determined to have Osha as a Padawan. Particularly in this episode and the previous episodes beforehand, because, well, he wanted the Padawan, but it also I do like how it shows that even though the importance of this mission is explained, it's not enough to just turn Torben to be excited, because he seems to just not be interested in vergence. But I do like how you've got Indara being thinking on the possibility of that that this mission might not be find a vergence, if you will, so it might be pointless. But I also think it goes to show this episode maybe showing sort of conflict that you'll have with Indara. Indara's more seems to be by the book Jedi, with but Saul might be a bit more emotional, as he might view emotions with each other as differently. But anyway, I'm lamenting on about this part of the episode, going on this episode a bit long enough. I think it's time that I go to the next part where Kanaka calls them, and that where they decide to at this point split up. With Saul going to the river, which he takes a speeder bike, and this is where he goes to the bunta tree, and then he finds the sort of ruins that eventually leads to him noticing Osher and May, observing their conversation, and then also seeing May use the force to trap a butterfly, the butterfly what we saw from the third episode, and then comes in close to find out when they were arguing. Looking as he is observing them, particularly when they are observing a relationship as twin sisters, and then this is where they catch the sight of Mother Corell, which I will admit in the last review I might have not remembered this name quite well, and telling with her laminating on the children, and this is where Saul decides to follow, but also contacting Master Indra that they're not alone. He follows the twins, of course, to the Bendok fortress, where he sees how Corell unlocks the gate, and how the children take inside. He tries to unlock it, but can't do it, so he starts climbing. And eventually, he ends up watching Mother Anisia's training with the twins, and from the way it looks, he thinks like they're not having a very decent training. As we see, there's a bit where May defending Osha from the Force powers, and then this is where we learned that when Corey was he heard sounds and all that stuff, she might have thought it was someone with the generator, but turns out it was Sol actually causing some noise, and he had to try and flee. And this is the point where he ends up witnessing several of the witches engaging in a ritual, which I will admit, I think it was a nice nod that this bit of the episode explains something that I didn't quite understand that happened in the third episode, but it's explained here now, and I think this is fine. I mean, it's the stereotypical, someone is watching you kind of thing, but I think it's at least clears that up. But yeah, part of the little mystery, and we're getting that sort of explanation now, if you will. So I do like that aspect, but yeah. Anyway, hold on a sec. We then cut to nighttime, where Sol is talking to Master Indara and the other Jedi about what he saw, saying that he believes this is a false cult that are possibly witches, which leads Torben to ask that are these witches a Night Sister, but which you get Kanaka growling because he seems to have a bad view of the Night Sisters. That I can't really blame him, I guess. And Vindara saying that that's not really, they do not have all the information, and adds that the Night Sisters do not raise younglings or train them, which from what I can recall from the Clone Wars cartoon, that seems to be the case, as we only ever see adults there with the Night Sisters, and we don't really see any of them young ones. In fact, if we saw the first episode that the Night Sisters appeared in the Clone Wars, where we saw Sarge Ventress being given up as a baby to help the Night Sisters survive. So it does seem like at some point the Night Sisters, there's something about the Night Sisters where they seem to be, when their children are raised separately before eventually rejoining the sisterhood, if you will. So we have that. You have Sol, of course, being confused that the witches do not treat the girls like children and thinking that they're in danger, but she thinks they should return to the, but Indara thinks they should return to the ship and seek guidance from the Jedi High Council. But Sol insists that he's concerned for the girls' safety and says that they're preparing for some ceremony tonight. and insists that they act faster as a result of this, rather than consult the High Council. But which you get the four Jedi traveling to the two speeder bikes towards like the fortress, reaching the gates. You see Kanaka trying to get in, but Tobin recognizes it's an old platform elevator and thinks that the mountain fortress is really one of a mining site, which probably explains, which this gives a bit of explanations, because this clearly is not really necessarily a witch's temple, if you will. It's like being used as a mining thing, so I do like that bit of an explanation there, if you will, for this bit of the episode. But yeah, whoops, made the wrong choice there. Eventually, you get Kanaka able to slice the elevator controls. Indara wants to investigate alone, but Tobin thinks that at least one of them should accompany her. She's saying that this disagrees, as the Wishes might take this as multiple Jedi as a threat. With Sol saying that, well, there are 50 of them and 2 children, so 50 of them, and Indara points out 50 of them and 2 children, and Sol insisting that they can go as a team. But eventually, Indara eventually relents to this reluctances and warns them that they need to remain vigilant. And this is where we see the bit where the 4 Jedi enter the temple and then ends up meeting like the witches, and they have that conversation with between Indara and Anicia, and then that and then being accused of trespassing, and then of course like the bits with introducing each other, and Anisha retorting that apparently they do not know, and also Osha introducing herself to the thing. But while we seeing that while this is going on, we see Tobin's perspective of when Anisha was using like that sort of possession thing, and then we realize he seems to be in the plane. Kind of like playing some sort of illusion thing where everyone's gone, with just her telling them that she can give him what he wants. If they just has to say yes, and he wants to go home, in which he ends up saying so, and he says he wants to go home, and his eyes turn black, and that's where you get the whole knee thing. And then of course you get like the leaving thing, but yeah. And then you got like Osha sort of like begging Anisha mother. Then you got of course like the bit when Anisha begs her mother to be trained as a Jedi, and of course you get Indra backing him up. And then you got like the deal of like Ritzy back and forth with like how and back and forth of like, okay, fine, we'll have them tested. We'll let you test them tomorrow, kind of situation, which was very controversial with like how it played down. Though I'm not sure this. This might clear up some things, but I think it also might have made some people more angry with the Jedi, from what I can see from online. And this is where you mostly get the bits with like Indra and Sol, where in the starship, Indara is tending to Torben, who is still shaken from like being possessed by that telepathic attack, and does like it's at least Indara is at least happy with Sol's idea about testing ghosts until buy her time to consult the council, and this seems to be why she said what she said about testing the Jedi. So who knows? It seems like what she was saying from like the third episode might have been a bit bullshit, but she used that to like situation to do this sort of investigation. But Sol feels like he actually wants to do the task, as he feels he has a special connection with Osha, which is also being scrutinized depending on how you view that. But Indara is being like saying that even though the test thinking that even if they do test the twins, Anasha might just be too old to join the Jedi Order, which seems to be more in line with like the fact that Mace Windu and the Council were very reluctant to have Anakin join because, well, he was 9 years old and Osha's, so it's like, oh, 8 years is still too old. And it seems to be more of like what Sol said in like the third episode about being at least 4 years old before you leave to join the Jedi. But Sol insists that Osha becomes his apprentice because he thinks it's destiny, but thinks it might be her destiny to become his like a Padawan. But Indara resorts that, well, the Coven will not allow her to leave, and and warns that they are insolent, strange, and they do not quite know them, and they don't really want to get into conflict with them. But so his assistant, because he's concerned about this Osha girl's well-being, and saying about concerned about how the markings may got from the ceremonial. But Indara points out that ceremonial markings are customary in many galactic cultures, so it might not just be threatening as she recalls. But Sol tries to insist that Osha didn't really want ones and thinks that the twins aren't safe. Indara saying that they can't be certain that Osha would resisted receiving the marking if they arrived or not. And but Sol's insisting that a Jedi's duty is to protect people like Osha, and he thinks that Osha wants to leave with them. But Indara once again sort of tells her not don't mistake your feelings for like Osha's, if you will, or desires, if you will, for this wording. But which that leaves the conversation. But you can tell it's not really going well between the two Jedi Masters. And this is where and this is where we get to see the testing of the twins, where you see this time you see what May does. We get Tobin getting the blood sample from her. Let's see, and then of course she is being greeted by Indra and Sol, and then takes a test. She is failing it on purpose, even saying something before the image even appears. And let's see, you can tell that Sol's disappointed because he realizes what May's doing, and this will end up, resulting in May asking to go home with Indra before first questioning about the ceremony, since he knows that Sol is probably concerned about it and wants to learn about it, and also try and learn as much as they can about it, with May saying that it was a ascension ceremony, and she asks, "What is it?" Let's see, what's it like, and she talks about how she liked it, with Indara saying that it was the markings on them must have been very important and powerful for her to receive it. Which May asks that her mother Isha explain to them that the ascension ceremony means that she and Osha will eventually lead the Coven someday, and talking about how and following their footsteps. But this kind of confuses Indara, asking how are they supposed to be expected to leave the Coven someday since they're children? But May says she doesn't know, which I think has led to some theorizing that perhaps Anisha was intending to possess one of the two twins one of these days. But I'm not entirely sure that that's where they're going with this thing. With let's see that that this is just that's what they're going with, and I think that and what happens at the end later in this episode, I think debunks that. But anyway, you get May saying that her mother says everyone must walk through fear. Apparently, the Wikipedia implies that it was she misunderstands it, and must everyone sacrifice to fulfill their duty, which Indara thanks May for that explanation before asking her to leave, and I think this just all the more concerns Sol, as he ends up telling that he was distracted to fail. And he asks to try a different approach with Osha, but as a result of like the governance results, you get Indara being about and beliefs. She seems to like, okay, fine, do it. We'll see how it goes. We get a bit of the test where and we see the bit where Sol talks about how there's other children like her, and so courage to say what he wants. And this is where you have Indara making contact with Torben, saying that this is a bit after when Osha wants to be a Jedi, and goes on about the test. Indra says, "Let's continue the test," and yeah. Let's see, as the test goes on, with Osha being correct, you see Indra being concerned with the look, and on the second, I just need to pause for a sec. I'll be back in a second. And I'm back, everyone. Sorry for that little bit of the delay. But anyway, you get let's see, later you have Indara instructing Tobin to do blood samples, and then she's saying that she's going to contact the Jedi Council for advice, and then wait the response from the Council, and tells Tobin and Kanata to continue with their field work, and Sol tries to insist that Osha passed, but she says that she will meet him at the camp once the council has responded, saying that this will be done later. And then you get them preparing dinner. You get Indra coming out, explaining that the Jedi Council will not sanction bringing the twins to Coruscant or separating them from the Coven, and showing that they don't want to get involved, pretty much in the these witches' deals and getting into conflict with them. And but Tobin tries to say that twin witches are dangerous, talking about the attack, with Sol even saying that surely you must know at the very least that the twins are not safe. But Indra insists that the council says they've interfered too much with the Coven already and don't want to escalate it further. And this is where Tobin asks if they can return, but she says no, which makes Tobin unhappy. And then they're saying Sol wants to try and speak to the council, but Indra says that their decision has been made and they will not change their mind, even though he protests about Osha passing the test. But she also points out that she coached her to pass and wanted not to form any emotional attachments with the child, which of course I think has caused some controversy, saying, perhaps Sol's being a bit creepy here, but I think that's just more, it's supposed to be more of like a parent and daughter-like bond. At least I'm hoping that's going on. I know there's many accusations because of who the showrunner used to work for, but who knows? But yeah. But Sol is just denying, granted with his angry emotions, you can clearly tell that he's not, he's clearly saying that's not what's happening, and saying he just wants to do best for her. But of course, you get Indara saying that's not up to them. And this is where Tobin returns with a data pad containing like the blood test results, saying that MCAT, which of course we know as midichlorians, is unusually high, making them very force sensitive. And then reveals that they also have the same symbiote, which gets that it's because apparently twins are not supposed to have old symbiotes. Symbiont is supposed to be different, and the fact that they're the same is unusual, which leads Sol and Indara to conclude that the twins were artificially created by a tapping of power something strong enough that they could split someone's conscience into two bodies, with so concluding that only a virgins can create that kind of power. And thinking that the girls are in danger, Torben thinks that let's see, this is like what they're looking for, so they should go and bring them back to the Jedi Council. But Sol sort of protests as he heads off with his speeder bike because he wants to bring them back as proof. And thinking that this will be his ticket home, showing his recklessness. And Dara sends Sol to like go on the speeder thing while she and Kelnock will go to the starship and try and stop them. Unfortunately, they are too late to end up stopping them. But you then cut to the bit of the fight between May and Osha about the whole thing. Let's see, we're seeing, of course, May being taken away by Corel. Seeing the speed bike chase, and then that bit with Osha saying that she wants to be a Jedi in the hug, and saying how she speaks to the other witches. This is where you get then seeing that Corel dragging May to the courtyard, saying that she doesn't want to, giving her permission to stop her sister from going with the Jedi, and saying that so remind giving them a bit of a weapon, giving her a bit of a test, as we warn that the Jedi will not warn her about attack, and you have May using the Force to deflect it. Fitzy encourage her to use her anger, if you will, sort of like she encouraging more of the dark side here, seemingly getting the rest of her sisters ready for a fight as May tries to stop her sister. And this is where you get, I believe, to the other witches by the name of, I think one of them is called Rain. Let's see, a human female, if you will. And the other is someone called Iris, another human female. So let's see. So it's not one of the alien ones. I figured that old alien one would have talked, but I was clearly wrong on that regards. But yeah, so you had that bit there. So they object to the thing, but Anisha's comments that she is chosen and they should respect her daughter's wishes. But they're saying that this is sacrificing their future. The other witches, and she's saying that her children are their future, insists that she needs to respect their wish. Let's see, with one of them saying that, well, she's their mother, but she's also maybe their mother, but also the leader. But Anisha chooses to be a mother first, showing perhaps some good qualities in her as a character. Though granted, I think some people find this to be a bit contradictory with some of the stuff that goes later. But anyway, you see, then get to the bit where May smashes the elevator panel, where she traps Osh inside. Well, no, actually, this is the entrance bit. And she tells the other witches that no one can get in and out. Cole then gets the other witches to prepare for battle. And you see them both, see Sol and Torben at the elevator. They're trying to get in, but it's jammed. Let's see. You get Sol using the Force a bit, and notice that Osh is in trouble with her sister, forcing her to stay in, which leads to Sol telling them that they need to climb the fortress wall, and and saying that he'll need his help in order to, telling Torben that he'll need his help to rescue them, and reminds him not to get the witches in his head again. And this time he's prepared. As they climb up the mountain, Mel, of course, locks Etsy inside the room and does that infamous oil lamp thing. But we get like Indar and Kalnaka arriving, but they can't land. So Kalnaka jumps off the starship jump off the starship by Indra's suggestion, and also try to stop Torben, not realizing that the situation that it's now probably both Sol and Torben that cause them some problems. As you see Quell preparing the witches, but Nisha tells them that saying that wanting her not to use violence and not causing the situation worse. But you get Quell insisting that she's not going to let the Jedi take her children, and we see, of course, the bit Jenna being set on fire, but we see that from now May's perspective that she did not intend for the fire to spread. It was only just to burn that book, and he caused and it was more of an accident on her part. So we got there, and she tried to cause out for her mothers for help, I think. And this is where we get to pretty much the confrontation and possibly, I believe, the controversial aspect of this episode, which, let's see, I particularly recall this part being the most controversial, where you have the Jai now confronting the witches, talking particularly with Anisha and Krull and all that stuff. With Anisha, which I think this is a bit where I saw some people saying that the warning the Jedi for returning, even though it's like, didn't you say that you're going to let the Jedi said this, like, you're going to respect the wishes of Osha to become a Jedi, but it seems like you're warning them not to come in. It's like, if they're not allowed to come in, how can they take them? Let's see, Osha, though, granted, I think she probably was thinking that this would, I guess, in her mind, and the explanation I can think of is that perhaps she thought that they'd just take Osha to them and they leave the planet. But who knows? I'm not really sure. But either way, I've seen people complain about this bit of the episode. But yeah. But Saul tries to say they have noble intentions and not really let's see, and this is where not cause a problem. So, but Anisha tries to say that, well, let's see, you're choosing, you're forcing, let's see, one to leave her family to go be raised by institutions. Well, when asking about that, she says that this is where Saul starts to ask where the twins came from and how they were created. And this is where it gets the archers of the witches more directed at the air. Let's see, Jedi, which causes Tobin to be nervous. But this is where Anisha starts to warn Saul that that Saul's noble intentions could lead to the eventual destruction of the Jedi Order, which, of course, for those who end up watching the prequel trilogy, we do know that, of course, that ends up being the case, particularly while they try to stop Palpatine and even some of the stuff they do with Anakin, which results in Palpatine able to manipulate Anakin and having him turn on the Jedi, and then them all being wiped out during Order 66. So we kind of have that kind of scene there. But anyway, we then cut to anyway, you see Tobin trying to reach for his lightsaber, but Saul stops, but then May comes in asking for help. Let's see, but of course at the time, let's see, Saul, who seems to be really bad at not telling the twins apart, calls up Osha, but let's see, this is where you see Krull trying to fight with her spear, and Tobin igniting his lightsaber. You start to see Anisha using the powers to morph into some sort of black smoke thing, I guess kind of similar to Mother Townsend's green smoke, if you will. And you see it, let's see, enveloping May. So he takes this the bad way and then just ends up, let's see, slashing her with the lightsaber, killing her. And you see her falling down to her wounds, and you kind of May crying out despair. You kind of see Saul going, realizing what he's just done, saying, what have I done, kind of look, if you will. And as he holds Nisha, she ends up telling him that she was going to allow Osha to follow the Jedi, saying that she wanted to honor her daughter's wishes, which leads cause to all kinds of despair for Saul, as this is he's just done the worst thing possible that will eventually, arguably, if I had to guess, judging by next episode, is something that he's been meaning to try and tell Osha for a very long time, but May is but Fritzy Osha for a very long time, but always gets interrupted, and it's now probably going to be told at the worst possible time, as you see, as you're probably going to see Osha being seduced by Cormair as her Sith master, if you will. So with let's see, with her on the floor, let's see, Saul realizes that it's actually May. Corey gets mad, tells May to run. Torben fends off all the scouts with a lightsaber as Croy fights Sol with her staff, but he's just mostly blocking with his arms and is not really fighting back with lightsaber. Bitsy feeling the guilt, he refuses to fight her even when she insists that she fight her, but eventually he destroys her staff. And you start to see fires and explosions triggered by the whole thing. Bitsy with you think you're seeing Indar looking at the devastation. You see Osha, of course, escaping from a tunnel, hearing the explosions above and the sounds, I think, of her mother fighting her mother Kriya fighting the Jedi. Eventually, Kriya decides to disappear herself in the black smog, and you see the others disappear with her taunting the Jedi. With Torben trying to say that he won't be possessed again, but they're saying that they're not doing that, and it's actually Kalnaka they've possessed, and he's now drawing a black dice. He's ignites his lightsaber and starts fighting his Jedi with a lightsaber. As you see all the remaining witches, including that Elder Nasa, doing the switcheroo that possesses Kalnaka's mind. Their eyes turn black as well. And then this is where you have the Kalnaka versus Sol and Torben, the lightsaber fight, as well as force powers. You see sort of the Jedi Wookiee force pushing them very hard. You get Torben bashed to a wall, getting scarred face, if you will, explaining how he got those scars on his face that we saw in the second episode. The episode that we first saw him in. And then you get Kalnaka clashing the lightsaber. Kalnaka clashing the lightsaber a bit with Sol and him jumping around it, and eventually he's able to try and but you get eventually, of course, him preventing Kalnaka from doing a lightsaber blow to Torben, who sort of does block it, and but you get a bit more of a. Eventually, the fight leads to Sol being strangled, and this is where Indara comes in to help Sol. Jumps on Connector and fights him a bit, knocking him to the ground, using the Force to try and counter the witch's power. Is he able to use the Force to drive them out of her mind? But apparently, as a result of that, causes all the witches to collapse and seemingly killing them all. And which is arguably the most controversial aspect of the episode, because these witches end up dying, despite the whole power of many kind of rhetoric that you heard. And whoops, I'm wrong a bit. And let's see. Once Kalnaka's returned to normal, she turns to Wookiee and says Sol to find the twins, and we see a bit of the generator where we get her saying that Mom's dead and all that stuff, and this is where it starts collapsing. We then learn that it's actually Sol that used the Force to try and hold them both on, but realizing that he can't hold it much longer, decides to choose Osha over May, focuses on her one, and then rushes to her. As it seems like showing that Sol has done a very, hard, but also perhaps maybe dark choice. And from that will probably cost him for the rest of his life. And then the episode ends at the end where the Jedi Starship, where Kalnaka is just pacing, probably still feeling the effects of being possessed. And Sol turning to Osha while Torben and is being tended to by Master Indra, with him apologizing. Well, maybe not actually being tended to, but he's then now scarred and apologizes to her master, which tells Kalnaka to contact Coruscant, decide to lash out at both Sol and Torben, saying that she warned them not to interfere and let their emotions cloud them, and now and that they've caused this to be a much bigger problem than they want to, because she's arguably now responsible for killing an entire order of witches. And but Sol tries to insist that one of the twins to be safe, but she of course grabs his arm, and they start getting a bit physical. It seems like Indar has enough before Torben intervenes by telling him to stop. And then Torben asks if they should tell what they should tell the Kijai Council, but Indara finally says that a report that may burn down the witch's fortress, causing the death of everyone inside. This shocks everyone, with particularly Sol saying that he should face the council, but she warns him that let's see, don't do this to her now, Osha. Now she's lost everything at this point, and don't let her lose this as well. So it's like, she wants to be a Jai. Give this chance of her being a dream. That may do that thing, fire that caused everyone to die. And he made a choice, and think about that before facing the council. So it's like, if you want to, you have to see this through now because there's no other choice for Osha. And this is where you see Osha waking up, calling for a mother, and then Sol then listening to decides to hear her advice about Indara's lie, ends up telling her, of course, May started the fire, ending this episode. Okay, I will admit, I've probably given a bit more. The summary is a bit longer than I intended, but I've also given bits and pieces and commenting on how people reacted in this part of the episode. So, yeah, I will admit I was probably a lot quicker in summarizing for my last attempt at this episode, but now anyway, here are my overall thoughts. This episode, it's a mixed bag for me. There's stuff I liked, or at least found interesting, but there's stuff I didn't like and felt like the execution would have been better. Now, I'm going to be right back. I just need to do something for a quick minute, and then once that's done, I will give my views. I'm back, everyone. Sorry about that. Anyway, overall thoughts. Like I said, mixed. There's parts I like and didn't like, but yeah. Now, I'll start with the Jedi characters first. I actually think it's quite interesting to learn, particularly with Indara. I think this is the one we get more of a bit of character, if you will, as you only got a fight scene at the beginning of the first episode, that was also a preview for the 25th anniversary of The Phantom Menace, which I saw in the cinema, so I got that bit. But also, of course, you didn't really see much of her except for that one bit of conversation, a dialogue about how that she was leading the group of giants, saying they shouldn't really intrude here. How they had the right to didn't mean to intrude here, and how they have the right to test potential Padawans. So we had that bit here, but here we learn that she's a very by-the-book member of the Jedi Order, really wants to follow the Council's wishes and orders, and very sort of by-the-book Jedi of we must obey the will of the Council, and it's very strict when it comes to her conflicts with Sol, if you will, and we see that she is not happy when Sol letting his emotions cloud his judgment, and feels like let's not interfere, as he's like seems to be the more rational thinker, and thinking that Sol is letting his emotions cloud him by trying to compare like when he's thinking what Tobin's thinking for his own, and then later what he thinks about Osha's desires in his own, about the whole Padawan situation, taking Osha as a Padawan, and also like emotions, if you will, which I do like how she's like she tries to point out to Sol like you might be letting your emotions cloud him and not thinking rationally about these witches. Particularly a bit about the ceremonial thing. It says like it's markings. He thinks it's some sort of like cult like thing, and it might be dangerous. Which he's saying like every culture and customs. Have it. That doesn't necessarily mean anything, and think rationally on this bit. Only really, and even tries to be like, I should just go in by myself to like not present myself as a danger to like the others, which the witches clearly do see like 4J coming in as a bit of a threat, even if there are 50 of them. But yeah, but of course ends up reluctantly insisting only when Sol like says like it insists about the dangers, or when she hears May and sees like bit about like the Covenant's beliefs about the whole destiny and force thing, if you will, from May. Though granted, I don't think May had the best knowledge on all that stuff at least that time of her age. But yeah. But yeah, you've got that bit, and I do like how she's tried to follow the council's wishes, and even points out Sol that there are some biases in the way he's been doing things, particularly like encouraging Osha to like pass the test. Granted, and is trying her best to make sure her Padawan trying to the importance of this mission, but also trying to make his Padawan not be reckless. But unfortunately for her, her Padawan ends up being reckless, causing a bunch of problems, and tries to get both him and Sol to eventually stop, if you will. But of course, she would come out to defend her friends and ends up using the Force to be doing apparently impressive feat, but I'll get more to that later with witches, really. But you can probably tell that she had feelings very guilt about the actions they've taken, and possibly maybe killing off an entire group of witches, as I doubt she wanted to be responsible for the destruction of this order of witches, if you will. And is even angry when even shows, and then eventually shows a bit of anger, or at least getting finally annoyed that both her apprentice and Sol did not heed their warnings. And it seems that with Sol gets mad enough that it gets more like it might get into a physical confrontation. So I do like the bit of the emotions here. But I do think, of course, there is a bit of the questionable choice of her being the one to like tell a lie, to everyone tell a lie that Osha killed everyone May killed everyone by burning the fire. But I guess it goes to show you there's some nuances with her character, at least maybe attempted nuance, if you will. Depending on how you view it, of her trying to like, okay, let's see, we shouldn't have done this. We shouldn't have gotten too close to this covenant. Let's see, the Jedi Council warned us. Let's see, we didn't listen. Sol, you made the choices. We now have to live by the consequences. At the very least, allow Osha to have the chance to be a Jedi, because there's no other choice now since she's now lost everything. I do like that little bit thing. Though it's interesting that eventually down the line, apparently from what I can recall from the first episode, Indara was also part of the councils and Jedi decision to have like Osha eventually leave the Jedi Order, saying move away from the Jedi Order, which so there's like even though she shows it's like even though she gave the chance, deep down she probably realized that Osha wouldn't really be able to fit in, at least with the way the Jedi are currently at with like their training methods. But yeah. But anyway, this episode is mostly interesting, but granted, this might also made some people really hate Sol, from what I can tell. We actually get his perspective here, and we see how he perceives stuff. Like, let's see, it's clear that he really wants the Padawan from his interactions with Indara, but and as a result, his emotions were clouded, especially when he feels like he gains a strong connection with Osha, even though they haven't really met, which has led to some very we see people wondering if there's some questionable stuff here, but I think it's more of like he sees a potential daughter in Osha and wants to protect her. So I think that's what they're going for. I don't think it will be something like romantic, because that would be just very questionable. But anyway, I don't think they're going to do that. But if they do that, I'm going to be super annoyed. And it's like, what the hell, Disney? How did you let this happen? But yeah, I think it's more of just like father-daughter kind of thing there. But yeah, but it is interesting the way with the way he's observing. Let's see, the way he's observing, it just doesn't look good from his perspective. So I suppose you can't really blame him for not really trusting these Covenant witches. And it's like, you can't, because it's like he's kind of got a point. They do seem shady, and even when they start and have Mother Anisha possessing Torben, you can clearly tell that you can clearly tell that that's probably shaking pretty much him and Saul about trusting these witches, and like then clearly not a threat. And I suppose you can't really blame him for wanting to try and get Osha to be a Jedi. But I think the most so I think his biggest, and I think it's his, and this shows like his biggest flaw. He has no intentions of wanting to try and he wants Osha to be a sister. He knows that deep down she wants to be a Jedi, even though she, Indara, and him is not necessarily in the council, not necessarily sure on that. But he's letting his emotions cloud him of like doing actions that are a bit more reckless, which causes conflicts with eventually the witches, such as how they go inside the temple, how they the whole test thing leads to like Osha favoring an example that he favors, and of course eventually, of course, the confrontation with the witches where he accidentally ends up killing Anisha, the witch's mother's, and is eventually probably going to cost him in the end, because if Osha finds out the truth, which I assume she will, that's probably going to lead into his death and possibly his apprentices fall to the dark side, if you will. So it's like he's going to probably lose everything from the events of this mission. We only know he's lost his second Padawan from the episode 5, and the fact that he's probably now killed Anisha, Osha's mother. Once she finds that truth, she's going to turn on him. That is pretty much where it's likely to go with this episode of Star Wars. But yeah, but I do like how you like to see the guilt in his face and what he's done, and it's the fact that as a result of this, just seems to, for the most part, refuse to try and fight the remaining Covenant, which is particularly Corey, which she gets mad and saying a fight, but it seems like he's just trying to blocking. But you can also kind of see him taking a bit. It feels like he's tries to avoid the more fatal strikes, but allows Corey to like hit him because he sort of deserves to be punished, if you will. But I think the most interesting choice that we see with Soul this episode is pretty much the choice of when he like has to force hold both May and Osha, and Soul makes the decision to save Osha's life over May. In many ways, this is probably one of those mistakes that cost vitally, as this led to May but eventually becoming Quimmer's apprentice, hunting down the fellow Brendok team of Jedi, if you will, leading to the events that Quimmer encountering the Sith, encountering Quimmer, his entire Jedi team dead, including his then current Padawan, as well as Osha being taken away, and that will arguably probably for the 8th episode lead to the eventual dark side. In many ways, I think it's a very interesting choice, and think this makes a bit more. So, besides, for a while, I figured he might be more of like the Qui-Gon like figure type of Jedi when you saw like in the first few episodes. But I think but I don't think Qui-Gon, of course, was this kind of flawed with like the poor decision making or like bad choices and like decision making, allowing his emotions to cloud him stuff. So he's become a bit more or less Qui-Gon, and in some ways, perhaps maybe being a bit more like Obi-Wan too good of a mentor, too good of a friend to like possibly do the right choice in the thing, because we all know that, and because it's like the most interesting thing I think with like the Anakin and Obi-Wan duel is the fact that Obi-Wan had the chance to finish, of course, Darth Vader off for Anakin when he's like there, but instead leads him to his fate to be burned to death, which of course he doesn't die because Palpatine saves him, with Vader then being in the suit, and he has spent a lifetime hating Obi-Wan for what happened there. So arguably the whole thing, but we now learn like the decisions and choices he made and what he was finally going to tell Osha. So which paints him in like which paints him for me so as a Jedi with noble intentions, but allowed his motions to cloud his judgment and like attachments he formed with like Osha to make some very poor decisions that resulted in the Jedi getting to conflict with the witches and the death of like Osha's mother, if you will. So that part of the episode I thought was pretty with his character I thought was pretty good. I know some people hated it and found him being a fool, but I thought that was a bit more one of the more better things. Now, granted, you feel I think people who watch and listen to this are free to disagree with that. I don't blame you, but I thought that was at least interesting. But with one Jedi character, I am not really it's the characterization I didn't feel for was Torben's. Now, okay. Now, on one hand, I can see a Padawan being like, I don't want to be on this mission. I'd rather be back in Coruscant. I prefer, a more habitable planet than this forest kind of character. You can see him being a sort of like the impatient Padawan, as we saw like with Anakin and like, of course, Ahsoka, but and he just wants to go home. Now, granted, I feel like it's the impatient Padawan, good idea and all that stuff, but I feel like there's some bits in the execution was lacking. I do feel like now, granted, I think it kind of makes sense that even though he's been told about the whole Virgins thing, even like the importance of the mission of finding a Virgins, he doesn't quite fully grasp and understand like the value of that, and just like still not reluctant to the mission. But I think I feel like perhaps like I think Angry Joe said he was probably complaining too much for like what was arguably in the UK time 7 weeks of like halftime. If this was something like 7 months, I can probably see him like, we've been here for like nearly a year. We found nothing that matches like this Virgins mission, which I will admit. I'm surprised that the fact that, now granted, the whole Virgins talk conversation was more for audience perspective about, okay, why they're here. But it feels like, okay, shouldn't like the Jedi Padawan be informed that we're looking for a Virgins here with the Force thing? Now granted, fans generally have an idea of what the Virgins is, but what a Virgins is in Star Wars. But Torben, I guess, didn't really know so, but it resulted in him being a bit reckless. So him not being happy about the whole situation, not really understanding. But yeah, so I feel like if perhaps we got a bit more insight about why he wanted to go back to Coruscant, perhaps maybe. Which I think there was one YouTube reviewer that was more positive in this episode, saying one criticism about this is about how they could have possibly had Tobin being the reason he wants to go back because he just maybe delved more into like perhaps he enjoys the lifestyle of course there. Perhaps he has a secret girlfriend that he doesn't want the Jedi Council to know about. Apparently they're a bit more flexible in this time, even though they pretty much forbid full-on attachments still. But or maybe he had some like friends he wanted to get back to or something. But either way, it does feel like there should have been more delved into like Tobin's motivations of why he wants to go back to Coruscant. Granted, I feel like the whole Force illusion thing, we get an explanation about what goes on with Anicia. We can see like that experience has affected him. Not trusting the witches, which of course I think leads to more of his reckless actions at the end. So I think that makes, for the most part, makes sense of like, okay, we found the Virgins, we can go home now. And he just trust the witches after that. But I'm not entirely sure if this illusion power explains all the answers. I mean, granted, I think I might be thinking about some of the criticisms I saw from like some people like, okay, this really just did nothing. But I guess at the very least it shows us more about what's in Mother Anisha's power. Okay, what she does to get let's see, gives us more idea. This is more of a possession of like just say, yeah, what do you desire, and I can grant your wish kind of thing. Now for Kaunaka, okay, we like I said earlier, we finally got a little funny bit of like about the Wookiees also like to have their cooking eaten. Besides, also not losing to games of Allnet or Sabak or whatever, because that they will rip your arms off. They'll get angry. Though granted, a Wookiee Jai probably shouldn't really get angry. Other than that, we finally actually get to see him finally do a lightsaber battle, which I'm going to be clear. They should have shown this him fighting in episode 4 at the very least. Let's see. We should have seen some of lightsaber combat when he was alive, so it's like a bit too late. And the fact that we're seeing the lightsaber combat being possessed, not the best case of situation because we know he's not really in control. But at the very least, we know that we actually get to see his skills with a lightsaber. And it's pretty much what you expect with a Wookiee Jai, being very strong, able to push greatly with the Force, able to lift up and grab people, as we saw how he scarred Torben. And also just very brutal swings. So it's like, in many ways, it's what we wanted to see with a Wookiee fighting with a lightsaber and all that. In many ways, I wish it wasn't just done in a flashback and we actually got to see it in the current timeline. But I guess better late than never, but it's a bit mixed on that. So with Kaunaka, that's the mixed on that. Torben more negative, Sol and Indra a bit more positive. But yeah. But I do also one thing I suppose like the Jedi Council. I do like how it's like the Jedi Council like, nah, we're not gonna Elsha's too old, we're not gonna train. Remaining consistent with like the prequel thing, and also feel like the Jedi Council, the Jedi are getting too involved. The Jedi group team is getting too involved with the Brendok Witches, and they don't really want to cause this to be in conflict. And it's clear, and they've just been pretty much lied to from what happened there. So, granted, whether or not they will ever learn the truth, who knows? Though I feel like if the truth is ever end up being taught, if the truth has ever comes to their minds, I feel like they will probably try to disavow these Jedi, or at the very least try and sort out the situation politically, because it might be a bit of a blowback that these senators have been looking for. But granted, I have a feeling that the Jedi Council is going to remain completely ignorant of this, because Quim is going to probably turn Osha to the dark side, and Sol, the last remaining survivor of this Jedi group that was investigating, let's see, her sister May, is probably going to be they're all gonna she's gonna be killed, and Osha's gonna become like the new acolyte for Quimar. So you got that. So but it's nice to know that the Jedi Council didn't it's nice to know that the Jedi Council were being a bit more careful with with other Force organizations and not cause trouble for them. Now anyway, on to the witches. Let's see. Anisha, I'm pronouncing it correctly, I think. Yeah, I believe I am pronouncing Anisha's name correctly. Hold on, let me just double check. Mother and Anasea. All right, Mother Anasea. My mistake. I did that one wrong. Apologies, people. But yeah. Mother Anasea, I'm a bit, mixed on with some of the stuff here. On one hand, the stuff of her wanting to be a mother for her daughter, particularly Osha, letting her to making her choices, letting her go free, choosing her over perhaps being like the leader. It's like, okay, I want my daughter to be happy. I want her to be, if she wants to go down this path of a Jedi, she's going to take it. And she's willing to let her go, even when arguing with the rest of the coven. It's like she's our future, but she's saying that she is pretty much their. Let's see, she's Osha's mother, and that comes first. Ooh, we've got a comment from let's see, Harold Whaley saying, "Are you not showing any of the episode?" No, I don't show clips of the episode. Sorry, I'm just pretty much I generally, when it comes to my reviews, I just generally summarize the episode, which I will admit was a bit longer than I intended to, which is why my thoughts are a bit late. But I generally summarize what happened in the episode, give my thoughts, And that's generally what I do with the episode. I give my thoughts and then like an overall score of the episode. But I did end up sharing a little bit of like some of the, let's see, Rotten Tomatoes scores reactions to the Acolyte and some of like user reviews, which I end up doing with like every episode of the, let's see, review I've done of the show. And he's going like, oh, okay, thanks. Have a great day. Thank you. If you're leaving or if you're just continuing to listen to what I have to say, feel free to ask any questions about the episode or generally on Star Wars, and I will answer as I give my thoughts on the thing. So yeah, the stuff with Anish, and Anasea, good mother. I do like how she seems to care, but I do feel like some of the more character questioning is a bit like okay. I feel like some of the dialogue, which when you confront the Jedi, particularly when Sol and Tobin arrive at the second time, seems a bit contradictory. But particularly saying you Jedi should not have come and trespass here. But it's like I thought you were planning to like have Osha go with them, but I guess feels like even though that she doesn't want Roria, I believe is her name. Corel, Mother Corel. I get the R's and K's mixed up. Sorry, but Corel causing like doesn't want Crow to cause conflict with the Jedi. She's not really exactly best with her wording as well. But I do like how she points out that the Jedi's. I do like her line about how the Jedi's noble intentions will eventually maybe cause their destructions one day if they end up interfering or causing problems where they shouldn't. But yeah. Now, granted, I will admit I do feel her like turning into black mist thing, which okay, it's similar to the Mother Talzin's power. I do feel like the way I do feel like her using that power. I don't really necessarily blame Sol with the way he reacted because it looks menacing. It looks like she's doing something to me, tearing her to pieces. And when Sol thought that was I suppose you can't really blame the reaction. But I do like how she was just saying that, telling Sol that she was going to let Osha go with them. So even though the Jedi Council probably agreed with like the covenant of like that the twins should stay here, she did want to give her daughter the choice. And in some ways, shows that in some ways she is better than the Jedi, who, as she did allow her daughter to have the choice, but the Jedi Council's like no, like that. But granted, Sol wants, of course, also give the choice, but I think he was also leading Osha in, if you will. So we have that bit there. So I thought, I think of like amongst the witches, and Anasea is arguably the one I think is at least has the most sympathetic traits to, but there are some bits in the character work that I think could have been done better. Now we get to the character of Mother Cruel, who, of course, we see it seems to be more like the devil on the shoulder, if you will. So as we see, it is her that ends up stoking up May's rash actions, if you will, of like trying to prevent her sister from leaving and getting the other witches into conflict. Now, I understand she doesn't want the Jedi to take away her children. She feels like that they should belong here, but it's like you're forcing a bit of a conflict between the Jedi and the witches, which this aggression is not going to end well. But I do. So yeah, she's like the sort of like devil on the, I guess, left or right shoulder, depending on how it's done in most media. But yeah, so she causes that, and causes May's reckless actions, and I do like how the reactions you have with like when she sees Mother Nisa's death and gets angry and telling Sol to fight her because she's angry, she wants to hit him, and it seems like she just wants Sol to bring up everything she believes about the Jedi, because she says like a Jedi will not warn you about to attack, but pretty much Sol is not really trying to attack her and is just doing defenses and more lethal weapons and just letting him get hit because he feels guilty. So like she wants to fight this Jedi, but the Jedi just doesn't want to do it, and eventually just decides to disappear. Now, granted, we end up seeing that She also has the same smoke ability, and she ends up disappearing. But granted, the main question I think many people have found in this episode with her is like, was she? Because I thought when I first saw the episode, I thought it was her body with the rest of those witches, but now in fact she actually is not there, and many leading to many of wondering if like, oh, she's still alive, so what's going to be done with her? Where's this going to lead to? Why has she been missing for 16 years? And now, granted, are we going to see her again for the final episode? Or is this possibly something that's going to be leading up to like a season 2, if you will, of the Acolyte? Because I heard that the showrunner plans to have a season 2, but granted, given the sort of mixed reactions, maybe even downright negative, depending on where you go on the Star Wars community's chat groups, if you will, or review sites, I'm not entirely sure how the viewership of the Disney Plus show is going for. Now, is there going to be a second season? I don't know. For all I know, the show could possibly get cancelled due to like some of the more poor reviews. And I'm not, granted, I don't really know what the viewing numbers are. But if anyone has any viewing numbers about the Acolyte, or know where I can find them, please comment. But and I will look at them. But if she is still alive and going to be at the end next episode, there's going to be like a lot of stuff to be covered for this episode, like the stuff with Sol and May. Eventually, let's see, Osha and Quima, Jedi Master Vestra. Let's see, hold on. Let's see, Jedi Master, I believe. I think we've got a comment from saying Howard Welly saying, instead of the Jedi breaking in 3 times, why didn't they just simply knock on the door? That does feel like I will admit that does feel like something they should have done. Just try and knock on the thing and maybe try and see if they can do a hollow connection. I don't think the witches had things, so I can see why trying to knock on the door, or maybe just wait and see what happens. But I'm just assuming that because the fact that Jedi Master Soul saw, meditating the Force and showed that Osha was being locked up by May, or like May was threatening Osha, that caused him to act recklessly, and instead of like doing like perhaps maybe more calm, rational thing, ended up just joining Torben of like climbing over the thing there. That is the only explanation I can think of, but you'd think that it would probably be more wiser done the door knocking and just waited, but then again, this is the same Jedi that wanted them all to go in at once rather than just one at a time, as Indra wanted to do, because she was the most level-headed of the Jedi there. So I think that's the only explanation you've kind of got there. So but you pretty much have like Howard Whaley saying they acted more like Padawans rather than Jedi Masters. Arguably, well, I think for Torben, you can excuse like him being the Padawan. So yeah, clearly he allowed his emotions to get the better judgment of him. So in a sense, he did acted like a Padawan. So I guess you could say Sol is arguably one of those cases where the Jedi say like not to let personal attachments cloud them or not their emotions thing. It's he cloud their judgment. So in a sense, you can see why the Jedi might be that strict in the prequel trilogy as a sort of Jedi like Sol, and I guess if you will. Kalnaka, him being like, well, he was more of a bystander, so I don't think he really, either one way or the other, was acting like a Padawan, though granted, he just got possessed, so he can't really be blamed for that. The only one really that was acting more like a master, I guess, was like Indara, trying to keep everyone at bay, but failed to do so, I guess, but yeah. But yeah, you've got, but pretty much you've got like, the stuff with Oshan, Kurma, May, and Sol, possibly Fenestra, and now maybe possibly this one witch. But anyway, getting to the other witch. Howard Whaley saying exactly, which goes against every Jedi teaching: don't get attached. Yeah. Now, personally, so it's like, they probably much break the rules. Now, granted, whether or not you think Jedi should or should not really have attachments, I think it depends. I think, in many ways, it's Luke's attachments, as we saw, that and the belief and faith he had in his father that eventually caused him to return to the light. But I think it goes to show that, the way I see it, Jedi should try to learn to have healthy attachments. Let's see. I think from what I believe, Jedi should have bonds and things, but not to let those attachments cloud their judgment and do irrational decisions. So I think they're at least. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how Disney goes with like Rey and the Jedi Order moving on from whatever when that Rey film does come out. But we'll have to wait and see. But at the moment, let's see. You can see a strong case for the Jedi not being attached with this show at the very least. But yeah. Anyway, talking to May, we get a bit more of at least one aspect of her side of thing where let's see the fire she did. Let's see, she intended to burn the book, but like but the whole turning the whole place on fire was not intentional. That was more of an accident, and she was like, "Oh crud, oh crud, oh crud, oh crud! How do I stop this? Help, 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 help!" kind of thing. Now, on one hand, makes her look, I guess her actions look a lot less bad, but frankly, the third episode didn't really paint her in the big, still good light because, well, she like threatened to have rather have Osha killed than go with them. Ooh, and you've got Harold Whaley saying, I guess one of the mothers from Daphnia Spikes. Let's see. Oh, Mother Koya. Let's see, Mother Koya. Let's see. Is she a Dathomirian witch from let's see, Night Sisters? Well, from what the episode implies, no, these witches are not connected to the Night Sisters. So, granted, it could be very much Mother Koya could be an Iridonian Dathomir. After all, we've seen that the Dathomirian Zabraks and the Dathomirian Night Sisters don't exactly have the horns and the spikes that the Zabraks have. Well, granted, I think that's more of just that was just because of George Lucas wanting to retcon Ventress into a Dathomirian Zabrak instead of like being a Ratiki because he wanted to tell this story with Ventress and eventually, which led, of course, to Return of Darth Maul. But if she is, it could be possible that she was originally a Night Sister but defected to a different group of witches. I mean, granted, we still don't. I think you're trying to say something, but I think you're being a bit quick with the comments. What is it you're trying to tell me, Howard Whaley? Or sorry if I'm pronouncing his surname wrong. Jackie also. Oh, Jackie isn't a Zabrak. Jackie, hold on. Jackie, I believe, is a Jackie is, from what I can recall, Jackie is. Hold on, let me just find. Hold on, I'm just trying to find. Let's see, where's the casting for Jackie? Indara, Torben, guests. Oh, where is I'm trying to find the casting of Jackie. Hold on, let me just Soul, Lord Thunder. Oh yeah, Jackie Lawn. She's a half human, half feline. You know, what we saw. Same race as male. Hold on. No, Jackie is not the same race as Maul. She is a half human, half feline. You remember those one of those background dancers in Jabba's palace? The same one of those same species as her. And I think there was you saw that species as well in the Phantom Menace. The showrunner was a fan of the species, and she wanted to include that here in the show. So it's not the same race as Maul. Sorry. So you got that there, but yeah. Anyway, like I said, let's see, May's actions. Let's see, still not. Let's see, well, maybe not entirely accidental. Still not entirely forgiving because of like some of the dialogue from the last episode. No, granted, if that's more Ulsha's interpretations, then she's clearly remembering it wrong. But yeah, but let's see. No, but I'll go and look back. Okay. You know what? I'll show you. I'll share the screen to. I'll share the screen. I'll find it. I'll search it myself and share the screen with you, so you can see what a half feeling is. So hold on. Let me just let's see. So yeah, let me just share screen. present, share screen, feeling. There we go. Share as yeah, this species here, this is a full-on villain, as we saw from the that bounty hunter from that episode where Ahsoka was a part of Boba Fett's crew. Oops, I accidentally went back there. So that's Jeki's species. This is the more half villain that you saw in Jabba's palace, if you will. This is more of like this is what Jackie's species is. This is the half villain, if you will. So that is like the species there. That's what you have there. So I'm just going to stop sharing. But yeah, that's the species that are seeing like, on the Clone Wars. Yeah, you can see a full-on villain on the Clone Wars and a half villain in that Jabba's palace scene where he's doing like the song "Be It Jai Rocks" or the original one, which I cannot remember. But that's pretty much what you see there. Anyway, so you got that, and that's pretty much what's going on with that. That's what Jackie's species is. So yeah. Anyway, the witches in general. Okay, for me, the dumbest part of this episode, and the thing that takes at least 1 or 2 points off from me, is pretty much the how the witches end up all dying when you had Indara rescuing, breaking the Kalnaka's connection, the connection of possession from them. It's like, okay, the whole. Where did you leave off? I was talking about May's and actions with like I was talking about May's actions and like, okay, them being an accident, but it's actually but still, like with episode 3, her her behavior and words still don't really paint her much in a sympathetic light, because she did lock her sister in a room and said she'd rather kill her before letting her leave with the Jedi. But the reason I end up disliking this part, but the bit with the witches in general here, I dislike, is the fact that they all get killed off at once. That feels like very plot convenient and all that stuff, and frankly makes the power of one, the power of two, the power of many, which you had many fans mocking that, to be fair. This makes it look even more stupid, because like, all of you combined, Indara kill them all when she broke the connection. Yeah, she did, which arguably is an impressive feat from Indara, but I feel like the fact that they all got killed off that easily kind of like makes the whole power of many thing just seem kind of stupid, because it's like it took just one Jedi to break the connection and kill off you all. It's like it feels too plot convenient and makes the witches look rather weak with their sort of philosophy, if you will. Now, granted, arguably, if it was like a Jedi Master on the level of like Luke Skywalker, Yoda, Mace Windu, or Sith Master on the level of Sidious, Dooku, and heck, even Vader, doing that sort of like force breaking kind of connection thing, I could believe that a group of witches, could be taken out like that, because it's like, those are extremely powerful Jedi Masters. Those are extremely powerful Force users. But Indara, while a skilled Jedi, I wouldn't say she doesn't, to me, strike me as one of the best in the Order. Arguably one capable of maybe fighting perhaps a Sith Lord. But yeah. Arguably, yes, we got explanations about why Torben killed himself, because of his reckless actions. Caused the group of witches to be killed, and also her master to end up killing them, and also ends up being scarred, and also the guilt that now his colleagues have had of like what they've done to the witches. So it's like his reckless actions through there. But yeah, but like I said, for me, it's like for me, even though Indara is strong, I do not think she should be strong enough to kill a bunch of witches. I feel like it was too much of a plot convenience, and as a result, I thought it was pretty weak and overall downgraded the quality of this episode for me. But yeah, I might have been a bit more positive in this episode, but I think I'm becoming, as a result of that last bit there, a bit more mixed. So yeah, overall, in this terms of this episode, if I had to score it, depending on my mood, and I guess how the show ends, I guess, I think you can score this in the range to 4 to 6 out of 10. Let's see, I like some of the better characterizations of like Indara and Sol, seeing their how they conflict between each other about Hal really saying Sol tells Usher to have the courage to tell the truth, and hours later they cover that and lie their arse off, which arguably, yes, they lied. They told some lies. They told some lies, and arguably, it's going to come back to bite them in the dust. I mean, arguably, you've got like pretty much three of those Jedi now dead, and now arguably you're probably going to have Osha learning the truth and probably feeling a sense of betrayal, and this might trigger her to fall to the dark side and become Kremar's new Acolyte, if you will. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that bit goes. And then low. So but yeah, I like Sol, like the flaws of Sol's characterization here. It's like setting him up for like the eventual fall. Indara's by the book Jedi thing. Torben feels like it should have been more expanded on. And this is definitely one of the bits of the flaws about the show, only having like 30-minute episodes. It's like not enough time is being done to dwell in these episodes, or some episodes feel like they should be 2 in 1. But yeah, so there's that bit there. I mean, okay, we also got to see Kanaka fighting with a lightsaber at last, but it was a possessed. Anasea, let's see, the Jedi mother witch and leader, I feel like very sympathetic with like, let's see, hold on. You think the green lady is Kremar's master? Are you talking about Jedi Master? Are you talking about Jedi Master Ventress Rao? Are you talking about... Hold on. Are you talking about the Maryland Jedi? Hold on, let me just share screen. Let's see, share. You're talking about her, right? You're talking about this Jedi here. This Jedi here, is this the one you're talking about? Is this what you're talking about? Are you saying that's Kremar's master? Yes, the one with the saber whip. No, I do not think she is going to be the Sith master. She's a well-known, established Jedi in the High Republic stories. You can see plenty of her stories. You see, there's plenty of stories with her in the High Republic era. Heck, let's see, as you can see, she was arguably one of the most gifted Jedi Knights, Jedi in the Order. She became a Jedi Knight at the age of 15, so yeah, she's a bit impressive. She's got this very extensive history in the Disney's expanded universe, and she's appeared in multiple books and comics, as you can see here. So yeah, she's unlikely to be the Sith Master. At the very least, she is more likely going to be like Sith marks in the back. Oh, I get. You think she's going to be you think he's going to be Kremar's Jedi Master? Sorry, I thought you were implying that she was going to be his Sith Master. My mistake. Yeah, my bad. My story. I misunderstand what you're going to say. It could very well be possibly be the case. I mean, if Venstra Rav is eventually going to try and track down where Sol has gone to find Usher, and she encounters Kremar, she could recognize Kremar as her former Padawan, and that could be the case. It very well could be the case on that, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Now, granted, it'll be very interesting if they do this, because then arguably she'll probably have to end up dying as a result of probably in a confrontation, because which means that a very long established character in the High Republic isn't going to be dying here. So I'm not sure how High Republic fans are going to react to this, because it might be like a very long established Jedi character in their story ends up being killed in a show that is rather not being well received in Star Wars fandom. But arguably, it could end up being the case with that. So it's very possible that's what we end up seeing. But we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. So yeah, it very well could be that she is Quimmar's thing. But yeah. But anyway, back to my score. So like 4 6 out of 10. Stuff with Soul, yeah. Mother Nisha, her character was like wanting to protect Osha, just doing her choose, but I feel like some of her actions and confrontation with the Jedi, Ritzy, were kind of stupid and overdramatic. And oh yeah, and let's see, Korea, let's see, makes me think that let's see, I actually like her character so far. Are you talking about the Mother Anisha, or are you talking about, let's see, Venestra Rarath? So I just want to check. Are you talking about the Osha's mother or the Jedi Light Whip Master? So I just want to get that clear. Let's see, clear, because let's see. Oh, the Green Lady. Yeah. Yeah, she's yeah, I think yeah. In many ways, she seems to be a member of the Jedi Council that is very involved in the politics of the Order. It's like I guess you could say Indra's by the book kind of Jedi and wants to make sure things are just done discreetly and quietly. But there's also some shady things with like her keeping secrets, if you will, that probably going to eventually result in perhaps her downfall. If I had to guess, if she's going to encounter Quinmar, she's going to die. Because, well, you know, if Quinmar's a Sith, the Sith need to be kept a secret. But yeah. Corel, I'm not sure if she's alive or dead, which, let's see, on one hand, let's see, I feel like that she was like sort of like devil on May's shoulder, if you will, giving the bad advice. But she's going to be alive. That makes me wonder, is she going to be in like the final episode? Is this going to be like a season 2 kind of thing? Who knows with that? May, we get more idea of what the fire was an accident on her part, but still, it doesn't really make up for like the characterizations that you got from the 3rd episode. And the all the witches dying the way they did, that was dumb. I felt like that weakens the thing. Oh, and one thing I guess I should probably also comment on, we got like a pop song for the end credits of like this episode, which is very different from all the other ones because they feel like more like, let's see, music from like what you got normally from like a Star Wars movie or show. But with let's see, Howard Worthy saying, you think Saul misunderstood the mother's intentions when she was misteleporting? Yes, I think that was clearly what I think that is clearly what happened with Saul, Saul with a lightsaber stab here. I think that is clearly what he was in. That is clearly what he did. He think that she was probably thinking that he was doing some sort of let's see, misteleporting thing that was going to cause harm to May, which he thought was Osha at the time. So an instinct, he reacted and stabbed. So let him cloud his motions. Cloud his motions there at the time, and did a horrible mistake of killing killing Anicia when in fact she was trying to just get May out of this conflict, if you will. And then of course you see like yeah, she was going to save May, but when it's like she was trying to save May, and then it's like he ends up killing her, and then it's learning that she was going to allow Osha to go with him, and it's like, what have I done situation kind of thing. So yeah, I think that's going to come back to bite him in the end, because he's either going to learn that, either going to have May confronting him that, or at least Osha learning the truth. And yeah. So I think that bit is going to happen down there. But yeah, but you also got like, but yeah. Now for the pop song, I feel it's a bit weird and out of place, if you will, or like the song that they did at the end of the credits. But it's not something I'm going to nitpick and complain about or give a bad review to the episode. I know some people like, oh, why is this song here? Frankly, I don't really mind. But yeah, it doesn't really feel like a Star Wars ending theme. I mean, I'm hoping that this is just a one-off thing for the episode, and it's not going to be, let's say, continue with the next episode. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But that's, well, pretty much all I have to say for the episode. I will admit, this conversation took a bit long. This review ended up being a lot longer than I expected with like redoing the last one. But I'm sort of glad I did, as I got to make my points clear. I will admit I did the summary a bit longer, but it allowed me time to have like let's see. Oh, me neither, low. So okay. I take it you're referring to like you staying here talking, but that's fair. But I'm glad you're here asking me all these questions, Howard Whaley. I think they made the stream a bit more interesting, at least in the second half of it, at the very least. If those who end up listening all the way, Ritty, I do thank you for like listening, even though I probably went too long into detail in the summary. But I do like how. But I hope you like what I gave my thoughts on the episode. And yeah, but yeah, saying oh, you got one more thing, how to say Sol next time that the bridges go and save the twins low. Arguably, yes, that is something that he probably should have done. I'm curious to see if May is going to confront him on that. That'll be interesting if she realizes that you chose to drop me, let's see, and let me to die. I'm going to see where it goes like that. Now, granted, if I had to guess, it's very possible that May might learn to forgive Sol, but then you get Sol, but also learning to hate and get angry at Sol at the sense of betrayal. You might see that in the contrast between the twins and Sol when it comes to like Quimmer and that final confrontation. At least that is what I am guessing. Ooh. And Howard saying low. Thank you for letting me hang out. No problem. Howard Whaley, thank you for your comments. I think it was very helpful making this stream a bit more engaging with like my thoughts in the end when I was trying to figure out what to say and also questions. So I'm glad you enjoyed. And also for everyone else that ended up watching and listening to this review stream, I hope you enjoyed what I had to say. And I hope you all see me, look forward to hoping you'll come back next time when I review the final episode of The Acolyte when it comes out, which I'm hoping to do next weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. I'm not going to do Friday again because I was too tired, and also because I'm going to be on holiday that day, so next week. So I won't be about. But for those who enjoy my Star Wars contact, I will see you next time. But for those who would just want to see more of my videos in general, later on during the day, I am going to be reviewing My Hero Academia with a few friends. But for now, I'm going to be off now. But yeah, overall, I am Blue Star Saber signing off. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Hal Whaley. Goodbye, and may the Force be with you.